Don't want that?
No, it's all right. Press the wrong button. I'm in the middle of the screen. I need to... That's it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
You all right, Mickey?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm all right too.
You've been up since 4:30?
No,
That's good.
4.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay, are we ready?
think so.
Think so. Okay, so let me share my screen. This
Oh, we're in
is,
there. Yeah.
yep. This is where you are. This is where we left off. You had just decided to try and find a way out of the prison. After exhausting all other options, you decided to go back on yourselves and head back into the only room that you hadn't been in yet. And that was the one opposite the storage room that you'd been in before, where you had tied up Ilara. She's over here somewhere. So you've made your way back from the exit yard and back down the corridor to here. And Canute, you had opened the door into this room here. As you did that, as you opened the door, you came face to face with Malric Dane. He's the warden of the prison. And he just said something really simple. He just said, "I've been expecting you," which is rather ominous, I think. So as you're standing there at the door, sort of a bit baffled by what's going on, how could he possibly be expecting you? You both hear movement from behind you. And Ilara finds her way back out of this door. She's now managed to untie herself because apparently Who's don't make very good knot making. They're not very good at making knots. So she's managed to free herself from her ropes, and now she has flanked you. So now she is standing here, and she's picked up a sword from the storage room, and she has it pointed at both of your backs. The warden gestures to the table and says, come join me, come sit down, have a drink. What would you like to do?
Go and sit down and listen to what he has to say.
Okay. Canute, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you both sort of enter the room, and as you're coming through, sort of dripping blood through the corridor, just little drips and drops. Ilara follows behind you, still holding the sword, and she just takes up position here and shuts the door behind you. Canute, you sit sort of here, and Reg, you sit at the end of the table here, and Malric is sat around about here. Okay, and he passes 2 goblets of wine to you. What's one in front of you, Canute, and one in front of you, Reg? And he says, "You've had a rather interesting evening, haven't you?" We do? Just drink up, drink up.
We're having a drink, and we're asking him what it's got planned for us.
Okay. So, Reg, are you drinking? Canute, are you drinking as well? Or
Yeah.
okay. So you both eagerly take the goblets in front of you, and you just start drinking whatever mysterious liquid is in these goblets. Could be wine, could be blood, who knows? And Malric just has a slight smile on his face as he watches you. As you're drinking, he starts to talk, and he says, "You killed a lot of my guards tonight, but I'm willing to forgive that if you do a little job for me." He had a prisoner before you came, and this prisoner was bigger and badder than both of you combined, and he managed to escape. I want you to both work together to track this escaped prisoner down. If you can bring him to me alive, I will give you 50 gold each. If you bring him back to me dead, I will give you 10 gold each. What do you say?
How long ago did he escape?
He's been missing for around 2 weeks. So the amount of time that you've been in prison, he's been out there doing whatever.
I think we can agree to track him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic, he says, as he pulls out the wine bottle and tops your glasses back up. Now he's really smiling, and he's really happy about this. He said, "You see, I laid this whole thing out for you. I knew you weren't going to stay in your cells. I knew that you were going to break out. And yes, I lost some guards, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not important." He takes another big drink of wine, and he's settling down in his chair. He's getting really comfortable, and he says, "So, do you both know why you're here?"
No.
No. How about you, Canute? Do you know why you're here?
Nope.
No. Interesting. So in this world, there are abominations. Humans that have become creatures. He's getting really sort of... You just see that he's settling into a bit of a foul mood. Like he's not comfortable talking about this, and he's really sort of disdaining. You are both.
Okay.
You are both such creatures. You, Sir Reginald, are a sheep, and you, the great and mighty Canute, are a shark. You are nothing but an animal, a beast. And this creature that's escaped is far worse than both of you. He takes your strength, Canute, and he takes your wit, Sir Reginald, and he twists them and he bends them to his will. And he's been out there doing all sorts of horrible, horrible things. There's been reports from the local villages that he's been pillaging and burning people and just murdering wantonly, much like you have done yourselves this evening. But I digress. I'm very pleased that you have decided to join me on my mission. Before you go, before I let you leave, I have a proposition for both of you. Because you have both agreed to work for me, I offer you the chance of a reward. Now, I've been watching what you have both been doing, and I have noticed things about you that could be improved. So, Reginald, I've noticed that you have very little space for ammunition. And Canute, well, you may be strong, but you haven't shown much intellect during this past few hours. So perhaps I can offer you some gifts. As he's talking, he's sort of sipping his wine more and more. And you just get a sense that he's just, there's something dark about him, and you don't really like him, but you can tell that he's quite a powerful man and he's used to getting his own way. So would you both like a gift from me, the warden of this prison?
Yes, please.
Very well. He stands up from his chair and takes a step towards the door, and Alara sort of moves out of the way, and he opens the door, and he beckons to you, Reg, to join him. And although you, Canute, you try to sort of follow along, he's like, no, you wait here. It's not your turn. You wait here with Lara. Have another drink. I'm sure you need it after your hard work this evening. Reg, he's taking you back into this room. What are you both wanting to do? Do you want to do anything, or do you want to go along with it for now?
I'm going to go along with him to see what he's got to offer.
Okay. So, Canute, you just grab a seat and you just sort of sit back down, you sort of plonk heavily down on the chair, and Ilara still has the sword out, but she sort of shuffles over to you and she sits in the seat that Sir Reginald was in, and she pours herself a glass of wine as well, and then she has a drink, and you just both sort of sit there in awkward silence. You were once mortal enemies, and now you sort of have a sort of a semi-respect. She says nothing, and you say nothing back. You just sit there in silence, both drinking now and again. So Reginald, he brings you into this room. It's been rearranged a little bit. Obviously, all of your gear is gone. The remnants of the bench that Canute's items were being tied to, the bench is sort of basically firewood across the room. In the center of the room, on another bench, round about here, he set up 3 containers.
Investigation.
They look like
This is one of the best.
this. So on the left, you've got an ornate chest. In the middle, you have what looks like an ammunition crate, and on the right, you have just what looks like an old rusty bucket that had been knocking around the prison for a very long time. He gestures to them and he says, "Make your choice. One of them will be incredibly useful for you, and it will solve all of your problems that you've been facing, that we've witnessed. The other two, they're still useful, but there's only one thing that you could really use." Rich, what do you like to do?
I'm going to choose the bucket.
You're going to choose the bucket. Okay. So Reg sort of stands there and is looking sort of back and forth at them. He's like, "I think this is a trick. I think this is a trap. I think the best thing is going to be in the worst container. I think he's trying to deceive me." You step forward. You inspect each of them in turn, but you settle on the bucket. And as you step towards it, the warden starts smiling even wider. Would you like to keep your choice, or would you like to change your mind? He says.
No, I'm going to keep my choice.
Very well. Take your bucket and enter my quarters once more. So, Reg, you grab the bucket and you head back into the room that you were sat in, and you grab another seat that was open, and you sort of pull your wine glass over. You stick the bucket on the table in front of you, and you start drinking your wine again. Malric comes to the doorway and he gestures to you, Canute. You hear him in the doorway, and you see Reg enter the room with this disgusting looking bucket. And you are very bemused by the fact that the sheep has chosen the bucket with straw in it. And you're like, well, obviously that is what the sheep would choose, stupid sheep. So Malric says to you, "Your turn now, Shark Man." And you get up and you enter the corridor, pushing past him as you go.
Why Canute's having his choose? I'm just going to run to the loo quickly.
And you enter this room, and the rest of the items have been removed, the rest of the chests, and instead you have these three items on the table in front of you. And he says, "Choose wisely, Shark Man. One of these items will help you greatly. The other two will help you, but they won't solve a problem that you've been having. Which would you like to choose?"
The one on the right.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said. Well, there is an next question, please, after this.
You step towards her, much the same as Reg did, and you look at each of them one by one. You settle on the sort of the container is it's kind of like a bucket that has sort of fish bones sticking out of it, and what appears to be sort of fish guts sort of draped over the side, and some sort of feathers and other strange things. Malric says to you, "Are you sure you want to choose that one?"
No, I'm going to change my choice and go for the treasure chest.
Malric smiles. He says, "Very well. Take your container and return back to my quarters." So you grab the chest and you carry it back into the other room. And you also go sit back down and you plonk your container on the desk. Malric returns. So does Dad. Malric returns to the room and
Did he pick? What did you pick, Canute?
Oh, you'll have to wait and find out.
So Malric returns to the room and he sort of plonks himself down in his cushioned, comfortable seat, and he drinks again from his wine glass. And he says, "You've both chosen your items. Do you wish to know what they are?" He's slurring his speech a little bit now. He's obviously a little bit sozzled. So, Reginald, you chose the bucket. Why?
Because I thought, like he thought, the worst one's going to hold the best prize.
Ah, yes. Wise sheep man. Perhaps you're not as fluffy-brained as you appear. Reach into your bucket and remove the item that you have chosen. You sort of reach into the bucket, you push things aside, and down in the bottom of the bucket, right at the bottom, is what appears to be some sheep's wool. For a moment, you're like, it's just a sheepskin. I've already got one. I don't need another one. Like, what is this ridiculousness? I've obviously made the wrong choice.
Right.
But you reach in anyway, and you grab this sheepskin, whatever it is, and you pull it out. And it is what appears to be some kind of satchel. It's got
people on here. Look, people.
hello,
Hang on, we've got a visitor.
hello, visitor.
Hello, visitor.
Hello, short hair.
Yes, a little short hair.
Oh, you've had a haircut.
Yeah, little man.
Very short. Lovely.
Not easy to handle.
Oh, yes.
That's Nanny Redding hair.
That's not done.
Everything all right down there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And then they'll go back and forth.
Right, I'm back. Sorry, I've got wool in my hand. My hoof.
Got wool in your hoof. So you pull out this, what appears to be a satchel. It's got like a leather clasp over it, and it's sort of fastened, and it just looks like an over-the-shoulder bag sort of thing. And here I have a picture of it. It looks like this.
Is it a golden fleece?
Perhaps. It's this one on the right, by the way. The other two, they're gone. Malric looks at the item and he says, "Ah, you made the right choice, young sheep. You have chosen a most magnificent item, and it solves the biggest problem that you were having. That is the bottomless satchel of Woolworth. It's an incredibly rare item. When opened, the insides look impossibly deep. You take the unclasped bit and you just look in and you just can't seem to see the bottom of it. You reach in and your arm just disappears into it. Completely baffled by this, you look to Malric and questioning, asking, like, what is this? Malric says, "Ah, well, I noticed you had some trouble with your ammunition, and you didn't have anywhere to store it. So this lovely accessory allows you to store infinite items within it. They hold no weight. Whatever you place in this, be it ammunition or other things, there's no weight to it. You carry as much as you need."
I can put my bazookas in it.
You can, but then you'd have to sort of equip them every time.
Yeah.
Gonna start calling you Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. He says that there's some other magical things, but I'm sure you can work them out later on. And he turns to Canute and he says, "Now, you, Shark Man, let's see what you chose." So, Canute, originally you chose the fishy bag with feathers on it, and then you changed your mind. You took Malric's suggestion to change your mind, and you decided instead to go for the chest. Malric, sort of smiling as he says this to you, and he says, "Your turn. Open yours up." So you sort of unclasp the chest, and as you sort of open it, like a sighing sound fills the room, and you can smell salt water and sort of lazy fog sort of pours out of it across the table. And you reach in and you pull out
The fish.
this. Malric says, "Ah, yes, well, you took my guidance wisely. That is the crown of the drowned king. When worn, it gives you any melee attack that you make. So any axe attack you make on anyone, whatever damage you do, you can add your intelligence to that. So you can double the damage that you do, depending on what intelligence level you're at.
Not a lot.
No,
You've
you
put all of your
uploaded.
Yeah, you've put all of your points into intelligence now. So your intelligence is your highest score. So whatever damage you do with your axe, once per turn, so once every action, every time you do something, if it's an attack action, you can decide to add your intelligence to it, and that will do extra damage. Kind of like sort of focusing and making sure it really connects. As you finish sort of inspecting it, you place it on your head, and you now have your old crown, which is gold, and you have your new one that you've placed on your head. And you're sort of looking around, like trying to figure out, what do I do with this crown? Like, I need to keep it, but I've not got anywhere to put it. What would you like to do?
Put it in Reggie's bag.
That's what I was going to say.
So you look over at Sir Reginald and you're like, Sheepman, you've been a worthy ally. Would you hold this for me? Reg just sort of looks at you like crazy shark, but then he sort of nods and he's like, I will hold it, but I can't promise that I will not lose it in my bag of infinite wool. So once you've finished, Canute, Malric, he's still talking while you two are having this. He's sort of off in a world of his own. And he says, actually, Sharkman, there's even more magic to that item. So whenever you defeat an enemy, nearby enemies must also pass a mind test. If they fail, then they're going to hesitate in fear, which means you've got more of a chance to best them. And also, you can command the weak with that. So once during combat, you can shout a command with the authority of the drowned king, and you can choose an enemy within your range. And if the enemy fails a mind test, they must obey a single word command, whether that's drop, kneel, run, stop, whatever single word command you think. If they fail the test, then they will have to do it. And you, sheep, your items also, they have some very interesting properties. Not only do you have infinite storage and no weight to your items, you can also draw your ammunition from the satchel instantly as you are reloading your weapon. And of course, once per day, Sir Reginald, you may reach into the satchel and attempt to pull out something useful. You will roll a mind check, and if successful, you can retrieve a random useful object one time during each session. That can be explosives, that can be rope, that can be lantern, frying pan, cannonball, chicken, bottle of oil, whatever you think of. As long as the dungeon master agrees that you can do it. So, are you both pleased with your gifts?
Yes, very pleased. I'm just wondering why we just don't overpower him now. Because we've got this equipment, we don't have to work for him anymore. If Canute swings his axe and kills him, then the other lady will die as well because he's an enemy next to him.
I see what you're thinking there, Sir Reginald. I see you're thinking that you could just attack me and just leave with your items, but you forget one thing. And he pulls out his key ring, and on that is the master key for the prison. And if you wish to leave, you need to leave here with my permission, and only with my permission may you use these items. They are, for now, on loan. They are not yours to keep. So, are you both, Canute? How do you feel about your item? Are you pleased? Did you choose wisely? Do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we eat, we drink, we be merry. And he sort of slams his fist made of iron on the table as if to signal out the outside. And the door swings open. Ilara sort of is still sat at the table drinking. And the door swings open, and there's at least 20 guards in the doorway, and each of them has something, some food, some drink, something. They've all sort of squirreled out from somewhere in the prison, and they've made their way over to the table, and they start placing things on the table, food and drink and all sorts of different items that look delicious. And Malric is still sort of loving the fact that he's sort of created this scenario, and he's sort of telling tall tales of his past escapades. And as you both enjoy the evening, drinking and eating, you both start to feel quite sleepy, and sort of you become aware that Malric has been sort of eyeing you up, sort of carefully watching both of you. And eventually you both feel so tired that you just end up passing out. And that's all you remember for that day. When you wake up in the morning, you're both back in your cells, but you're no longer tied up. And all of your items are still with you. And you realize that Malric had been poisoning you slowly throughout the day. So every time you've drank from your cups or eaten some of the food, you've basically been swearing loyalty to him. So you're back in your cells, but the doors are open. They've managed to replace the doors on both of the cells, but they're both empty. And standing outside over here, there's just a guard just standing. And as you both sort of wake up and sort of start stirring, the guard says, "If you would like to follow me, sirs, I will escort you to the outside." What would you like to do?
Follow the guard, but we'll have to ask if we're being let out to track this man monster down. We need to know what he looks like.
Okay. So you both sort of come out of your cells, sort of bleary-eyed, and you sort of slowly sort of wake up to the world. And Reg goes up to the guard and he says, so if we're tracking down this beast, this creature, this thing, we need to know a little bit more about it. And the guard is looking really uncomfortable. He's like, "Oh, well, it's not really. It's a bit above. It's a bit above my my pay grade." And Canute, you're sort of standing there, and you're saying, "Well, you know, we need to know what this thing is and where we're looking for it in order to track it down." And I'm going to roll for I'm going to roll for an intimidation check to see if you can convince the guard. 9, 13, 14, 16. So you sort of stand up tall and you say, "Canute, you need to tell us what this thing is." He's uncomfortable and he's sort of shuffling and he's not really sure what to say or what to do. And he says, "Right, well, yes, well, it's I've heard stories in the nearest village, sort of head south from here. There'll be somebody in the pub that can tell you more about this creature. It's above, let's say, it's above my pay grade. I can't really tell you any more than what I already know. I know that it was enormous. It was gigantic. It was disgusting, and you'll need to track it yourselves." Malric was very clear on that. I can't tell you anything else. You need to find it yourselves. What would you like to do or say?
We'll have to make our way and do our best to see if we can find it.
Okay. Canute, is there anything you want to do?
Head towards the outside.
So, following the guard, he sort of leads you around the side of your cell and leads you out this way. And further up, there's another courtyard, but there's a sort of there's a wooden gate with iron bars on it, and he sort of shows you out and he says, "Yeah, just head straight south that way, just straight down, and just ask them in the pub, and they'll be able to tell you more about it." And then as soon as you step through, the doors slam behind you, and you can sort of hear laughter from inside, as if you've made a terrible, terrible mistake. You both sort of look at each other, and there's not really anything else you can say. You have to start heading
Towards the village.
towards the village. Do you want to do that, or would you like to do something else?
No, I think we'll have to head towards the village.
Yeah, head towards the village.
Okay. So you both start heading off through the forest, following the path, and you're heading further and further away from the prison, and you're just sort of discussing the situation and how you came to be where you are right now, and you're sort of both laughing about the fact that you're both still actually covered in now incredibly dry blood. Then you get to a stream that's passing through the woods, and you both have the idea to set up camp for the day, and you can both sort of jump in and just clean yourselves off, make yourselves feel a little bit fresher. So you find a little clearing next to the stream, and that's where you're going to set up for the evening. What would you both like to do?
I'm going to reach into my bag and bring out a big tent for us to sleep in.
So Reg reaches into his bag and what do we need? We have a mind test, so 6. So if you score above if you score above a 12, then you get your tent. Okay. 6. Oh, you score a 12. So Red sort of reaches into this satchel, and very much like Mary Poppins, as you said before, he starts sort of pulling this tent out. These massive poles that just keep on coming and coming and coming. And he sort of manages to get it all out, and eventually it sort of topples, and the rest of it just falls out, and he sort of walks backwards with the bag in order to get the tent completely out. And it's just laying there on the ground. And yeah, Canute, what would you like to do?
Make a fire.
Okay. So
Help
you
me put up the tent.
Reg, you're fine with the tent. You're sort of putting it up slowly, trying to figure out what tent poles go in where and what strings go where and all that sort of fun stuff. And Canute just sort of wanders off into the forest, and he starts to go looking for firewood. And he's sort of stomping around in the forest, and all around you you can hear like sort of creatures and birds and all sorts. And then all of a sudden, as you take one last step, it goes completely silent. You can't hear anything, but you see some firewood down in front of you, so you decide to reach over and grab the firewood. And although you were a little bit disturbed by the fact it had gone completely silent, you still continue, and you start heading back the way that you think the tent and Reg was. I'm going to make you do a perception check for 11. So as you're sort of wandering back, you are trying to make out the path that you took to get to where you are, but you can't quite work out exactly which way you come from. So you're sort of looking down on the ground, and you're looking for for broken twigs, and you're looking for like footprints, and you're looking for any sort of sign that this is the way that you would come. And eventually you find what you think is the correct path, and you start sort of heading off following this path. Meanwhile, Reg, what are you doing?
I'm putting a tent up, and I've got my fishing rod out, and I'm catching some dinner.
Okay. So luckily, inside the tent, you found once you got the tent sort of completely set up, you stepped inside and leaned against the wall were some fishing rods and some other things. There's a bow and there's other sort of bits and pieces, sort of weapons and hunting paraphernalia. And you sort of grab the fishing rod and you're like, ah, yes, my old friend. And you sort of go sort of snuffling around in the dirt until you find some worms, and you hook one up, and you're throwing the rod into the river. And you also notice that it goes incredibly quiet. All of the crickets stop chirping. No birds calling, nothing. But you get a bite on the rod. So you pull it, and you're sort of starting to reel it in and reel it in. I'm going to do a strength check to see if you can land it. Oh, nice. That is what's called a natural 20. You manage to reel and reel and reel and reel this creature, and eventually, with a massive heave, you bring the rod out of the water. And attached to the end of the rod is this massive blue serpent. It's like it looks like a dragon almost. It's easily 3 times the size of you, and it's not completely out of the water yet. It sort of snakes down into the water, and you're just sort of looking up at this massive dragon eel snake thing. Canute, what are you doing? Canute, are you awake?
Is he on his way back?
Maybe. Canute, are you there?
No,
No?
I think I'm lost in the forest.
Lost in the forest. Okay. Is there anything you want to do, or are you just following the
Just
path?
keep following what I believe is the path back to camp.
So Canute sort of continuing to stamp through the forest and following this, it's very rough sort of path. Eventually you come to the river, and you think, the river, yes, I remember the river. That's where we camped. And you think that the camp should be somewhere around here. But you look left and you look right, and it all looks exactly the same. There's nothing, there's no identifying features here. I'm going to do a perception check to see if you can figure out.
You're
you're looking left and right. There's absolutely nothing. You have no clue. Even if you turn around and look the other way, the way that you've literally just come from, you can't see any trace that you exist. Okay, you've got no way of knowing where you've been, where you've come from, and you are officially lost. So you have to decide which way you want to go. You decide that you want to follow the river, because that's where you were camped. You were camped on the river. So you sort of have a think, and then you have to make a decision between left or right. Which way would you like to go?
I'm going to go right.
The fellowship party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recognition.
So you get to the and you again looking left and right, and you've got no real concept. So you start heading towards the right. Let's just do. We'll just do another last check. Okay, 6. Yeah. So the oblivious, you continue just wandering through the forest and heading up the river. And that is where we're going to end for this evening.
I'm in my tent. Canute's lost. I've got a dragon on the end of my fist.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to put him in my bag.
At least you got a tent.
Oh, well, thank you. Something else to think about now.
Yeah, so
I've got to take the hook out the dragon's mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you.
It's all right. Hopefully you had fun.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.